Welcome to Stand-Up Memories. This is the last.
It's the last episode of the second season.
It is.
We just want to make sure that we remember to say that.
We're excited about season 3, and we are excited about season 2. We've had so many great episodes, and this is a great episode because we are with David Criblez of Newsday, of course, Jackie Martling, also known as the Joke Man, and I am Peter Bales.
No. You are Professor Peter Bales.
I have some modesty.
Disguised as a comedian. Now, this is the final episode of this season, so this is the sex episode. I'm going to tell a quick tale.
When Jackie talks about sex, we change the name to Stand-Up Distant Memories.
That's right.
All right.
That's
okay.
The sex may be distant, but the fact that this really is distant is totally a coincidence. And if he was funny, that was also an accident. So the other day was Memorial Day.
Yep.
This is probably going to air at Christmas. So it's Memorial Day in Oyster Bay, and I always go to the parade. So they march to the high school, and they're marching back, and they're coming along. And here's the high school band, the blue and gold. I'm with my sister and the kids and the grandkids. And, you know, it's Oyster Bay. What's not to love?
Right.
And the band takes off into Stars and Stripes Forever. And I'm hearing this guy that used to stand up at our Cub Scout meetings and sing a song, and we'd all sing along with him. And I got my iPhone. I'm going to videotape this song and sing along with it and send it. You were talking about YouTube and all that, and you wind up being in touch with, I probably am in touch with 3, but maybe 8 guys that literally were in my Cub Scout troop at the, you know, in those days. So that then I'm singing, be kind to your web-footed friends, for a duck may be somebody's mother. And I sing along with the whole thing, and then I look at the phone and go, Mr. Letson, how nostalgic is this? And then later on, I'm going to go send it. I didn't hit the record button. So it wasn't there. And I was because I'm already thinking of all these people that I'm going to send it to. So I'm telling this story to my sister and her husband, Kevin, this delightful guy. And I said, and I started singing along, be kind to your web-footed friends. And Kevin goes, oh yeah, Mitch Miller. And Mitch Miller was a band leader in the 50s.
I remember.
Kind of ran Columbia Records and hated rock and roll. And
Sing along with Mitch.
He was hated by everybody. Yeah. And I'm saying, it broke my, I said, are you going to tell me Mr. Letson didn't make that up? All these years I've been carrying this respect for this guy because it's who lives in a hole in a swamp, where the weather is very damp, and you know, and then the end of the say, you may think that this is the end. Well, it is, which was just always so funny, and I thought the guy created it. It just ripped a ridiculous piece of my childhood away.
Wow.
And I start thinking, now you might remember this. In the very beginning, when color TV hit, if there was a show in color, the TV guide had a little thing that said color.
Right.
After a certain amount of years, it got to be where if the show was in black and white, it'd say black and white.
Right.
Mitch Miller was the first show that was in color, at least in tri-state area. Channel 4, 9:30 on a Saturday night was Mitch Miller in color. There was no Bonanza, none of that stuff. This is I'm in I got to be in 9th grade. I got to be in 8th grade. So it's 1960, maybe 59, whatever. And I know this girl who's babysitting at this house, and they have a color TV.
Wow. Yeah.
So I grabbed my friend Johnny Panagot and says, come on, Sue is babysitting, Sue Reed is babysitting, and they got a color TV. let's go watch color TV. No desire to see Mitch Miller.
Right.
But that was,
Yeah.
you know, and we went up to the classic, you know, we're in 8th grade. I mean, I think I closed my eyes and pretended I kissed a girl in 7th grade, but I don't think I really did. And so we're sitting on the couch, and Mitch Miller's in color, which was, it was hard to wrap your brain around it. It really was. It probably looked horrible. And then, out of a clear blue sky, I leaned over and I kissed the girl.
Wow.
And I don't know, I was like, it's just one of those things that you did, like Butch Cassidy, when all of a sudden Butch Cassidy just leaped off the cliff, because what are you waiting for? You know, he just leaped off the cliff.
You mean you were inspired by the color?
So Pan said, I think three's the crowd or something. He said some great exit line, and he left. But I don't think I kissed her again. I didn't know what to do. So, and the show was a half hour, and I just left. But that was my.
But
my sex
did the
story.
color TV inspire you to kiss her?
No.
You just had the moment?
No, she was a person that was eventually going to have breasts,
Oh.
and I knew that.
First show I ever saw in color was F Troop. First season was black and white. Second season, F Troop. Larry Storch, my idol. I'll never forget that. It's
Now,
quite.
was that early?
Yeah. It was middle '60s. Yeah, it was definitely for me. I mean, I remember F Troop. They used to have comedy series that remained in black and white for a long time.
Right.
Bewitched was another one of them. I think these are great. These are old memories now.
We never had a color TV in my house. Long after the whole world had them, and we came back from Denver, and I had sold my electric piano, and bought pot, and then we sold the pot, and I had some money, and we went in the hearse, the Cadillac hearse, to Macy's. There weren't all those, Crazy Eddie, where you buy just TVs and just stereos. You went to Macy's.
Yeah.
And there was a floor model of a color TV, and my little, I probably shouldn't say she was Jewish, but my little Jewish girlfriend, beat the hell out of the salesman. God knows how cheap she got the floor model, and we put the floor model into it was like a console, how they were, and put it in the back of the hearse and drove back, and we all carried it into my mother's living room. And I can remember, I swear it's yesterday, plugged it in, and in full color, this big, there was the Dean Martin show. Wow. I could almost cry. It was
wow.
It was like staggeringly beautiful. And I think the whole world had color TV for 5 or 10 years.
I swear on my life, it must have been around 1970. We had my grandmother's black and white television in the basement, nobody using it anymore, but plugged in. I turned it on to Channel 7, and there's Channel 7 black and white, still the airwaves bouncing from the Empire State Building. There it was. And then I turned it to Channel 8, and you might remember that on the North Shore of Long Island, Channel 8 was the ABC station from New Haven, and it was they had the same programming most of the time, but sometimes not.
The news is different.
And I had it on Channel 7, and I turned it to Channel 8, and it was the same show. And it was color on a black and white TV. It was color on a black and white TV.
How's that even possible?
No, it's true. I have researched this, and there are cases where people have seen this. It is a phenomenon. It's happened. It's
now,
atmospheric.
did they smoke the exact same pot?
Anybody watching, go to our Facebook page or leave us a message at the watching on Netflix. If you've ever heard of this, a black and white TV suddenly getting color.
I don't ever trust you, but that is a phenomenal story.
I've seen it. It's true.
Why would you wait till the end of the second season to talk about a phenomenon that's more interesting than they now are researching billions of dollars UFOs because they see a cloud and they think maybe it's an alien. Oh. You have an alien in your basement in color and you don't think it's worth bringing up. Do you see?
These are incredible memories. Now, we have David Criblez here from Newsday.
See, the point of this is there is no way to check up on his story.
No, but I want somebody.
I said something happened in the parking lot. You can go out in the parking lot.
Anybody in our audience who's ever heard of this or seen this themselves, a black and white TV suddenly broadcasting color. I've seen it. I've actually done a lot of research.
Anybody in our audience?
It's not unheard of. It's
Either of
very
you.
rare.
Either of you.
All right, now look, we have.
Is that a true story?
It is true. Now we have the entertainment writer from Newsday here, David
You don't
Criblez.
think he's going to lead tomorrow with that story?
It's true. Do you
I can
believe it?
promise it's
Do you
not gonna
believe
lead
it?
Local
tomorrow.
comic.
I don't
sees
believe it.
things.
I've never.
But
It
you
sounds
don't
crazy.
believe it?
Well, how
I'm
could
not-
you have?
it
Think,
can't
think about the
scientifically
logistics
happen.
of it. How
It's
it doesn't even
atmospheric.
have the color tubes.
No, it's atmospheric. It has something to do with the atmosphere. It's very unique, very special, and it happened. And I want some backup from
I'm
our
going to
audience.
tell you.
Please
I'm
message
going
me.
to tell you what happened. Because what they used to have when you were a kid, there was all these things that you could buy in the back of a comic book. You could buy a fish,
I know.
like a seahorse that would come to life.
I know.
Yeah.
And you could buy cards to sell.
Yeah.
And you could buy all these things. And one of the things you could buy was a color TV. And it was a piece of plastic.
I
And
know.
when you
I
put it
know.
over the TV,
Wow. Oh, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
would refract
Tint it.
it to make
Yeah.
it look the slightest.
It was like
blue.
Winky Dink, only tinted.
Exactly.
Now, now listen. And you know what? I never. Speaking of that.
No, Winky Dink, you supplied the color.
Right. Right. Similar, not the same.
My Winky Dink experience is when you're a kid, they tell you you got to help Winky Dink. Winky Dink was the
Yes.
star. He's a
Right.
little guy whose head was a star, and he would get in trouble.
Yeah.
And the idea is you sent away and got a piece of plastic,
Yeah.
and you put it on the TV screen, and they sent you 4 different color crayons. And what would happen is they'd say, "Oh no, Winky's in trouble. He needs to get across that river. Quick. The child with the yellow crayon, draw the bridge." And I always thought it was so cool because number one, you send for something when you're a kid.
Right.
It's an eternity till it comes in the
Forever,
mail.
yeah.
I mean, my God,
Yeah, long
I'm already
time.
in college before I got
That's
here.
right.
And
Then
Jackie.
all of a sudden I got the 4 I'm the only kid. My brother's too young. So no matter what color they call for, I had the color.
Wow.
And you go there and draw. And then one day I said, you know what, I'm going to fool him. And I didn't draw it, and he didn't fall in the river. And I said, this is fake. This is bull.
See, what happened was Jackie ate the crayons, and the rest is history.
The weird part is that how no one with Winky Dink ever thought about how phallic that Winky Dink sounds.
You know what? I never thought it till right now.
No, I
Come
never thought it either,
Peter,
and that's.
Peter thought about it, but he's.
And David, I think
suppressing.
you should talk to someone about that.
My Winky Dink.
Now,
Did you see that what's his name? Peter Dinklage. They just put Peter Dinklage in the in Madame Tussauds World of Wax,
Oh,
which
really?
is terrific.
and they only got
Oh no.
got to make half of them because they ran out of crayons.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
man.
Not,
Jackie.
Not a good move.
That's not a good one, is it?
Yeah, I think it's got. I'm a big fan.
He's a terrific actor.
He's great.
He is. Now, I was David's history teacher, and I want to know something.
Yes,
You have kids now.
I do.
Do they go to public or private
No,
school?
they're all grown. I mean,
But did they?
They went to public. Yeah.
Okay,
My
so-
wife's a public school teacher.
Because
too.
we were at a private school.
I was, yeah, that's different. But the reason why I went to private school was,
Portledge?
yeah, Portledge and Locust
School,
Valley,
yep.
was because the public schools in the Queens where I live were not
Okay.
fantastic, and also that I had learning development issues, and they wanted me in smaller classes, so then I ended up going to Portledge.
Really?
Yep.
And now you're a writer for Newsday.
I am, yeah.
That's
I got
quite.
it. What was wrong with you?
What was wrong with me? I don't know.
read-
There's-
were you one of those kids that
Ask my
read
wife.
things
There's a million
backwards?
things wrong with me. What's that?
You read things backwards?
No, I never read things backward. Basically, what it came down to is I read and comprehended slower than the average.
Well, I'm amazed because I thought for sure you were even going to struggle with fast food working.
Now that's a fat
That,
shaming
no,
joke.
that's no,
That is so much worse.
no, no,
than
no,
my
no,
Peter
no,
Dinklage
no,
joke.
no. That has nothing to do with weight. That was a learning disability joke. It was equally offensive, but let's get the offensive part right.
Fast food. Did you get it?
No.
What?
What I could have said, I thought for sure you were going to end up in prison, or something like that.
Oh,
That's the
okay,
joke.
okay.
Has nothing to do with what I actually am doing in a very awkward way.
Next season, we'll be explaining a lot of Peter's material.
But again, you had a positive experience.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a beautiful private, a terrific place? I'll never forget it. I worked there for 5 years and had a wonderful time. And I think the education there is good.
Yeah, it was a nice environment, and the classes were small and was intimate. And I remember one thing that was funny is that it was funny because I grew up watching Welcome Back, Kotter. It was one of my favorite shows. And the funny thing is to have a teacher like Peter was like having Mr. Kotter, except he was a little more of a low-key version.
Oh, that's very nice.
But the cool thing is that I remember he used to wear these tweed jackets with the patches, right?
I did.
He's like a real professor.
I think they stop you at the gate leaving Locust Valley if you don't.
Yeah. That's true, right? And Peter, he's exactly the way he is now, except he had brown hair.
Bobby Sherman here.
All right.
Right. Yeah, but he's exactly the same. And the cool thing about it, he let us call him Bales. That was,
I didn't intentionally.
Well, we just did it. So everybody just called him Bales.
He couldn't stop you.
Right, exactly. So everybody used to call him Bales. But the cool thing is that we really loved Peter so much that, we respected the class and no one really acted up. But we would push him to do material in class. So, but he would, obviously, he's
still doing it now.
Well, he's a teacher, but exactly. But he's a teacher, and he's got to get his lesson across. And he used to say, "Okay, tell you what, if we get through this amount of material, I'll do 10 minutes at the end."
That's
right.
What he would do,
so
and he would do that. And then I remember when we were seniors, we all took a class trip that we organized, that he didn't organize, and we went to see him. I think it was either Governor's or the brokerage.
Oh, that's
but
so
we all
cool.
went to go see him, and we were going crazy.
And because they were all 15, they were allowed to drink.
Yeah, back in the 80s.
I got to tell you,
they were smart enough to let them drink, and also smart enough to not let me be on the show. Listen, now we did this story already, but if he hasn't heard it, do you know the Keith Richards story about Portland?
now what did you know, Marlon?
Oh yeah, I have a story about that.
Talk about him.
All right.
Marlon, okay,
I'm not proud of this.
Let's tell the audience
let me tell-
that Marlon Richards, son of the great Keith Richards, went to Portland
My
for a
friend
short
Billy
time.
Bourne's buddy, his mother was either the secretary or the receptionist or something. And one day, she called up the principal or whoever and said, "Sir, we got to get the police. There's a homeless man here. There's a gypsy here in the lobby, and you got to call the cops." And it was Keith Richards trying to enroll Marlon into Portland.
I remember when he came for some sort of disciplinary thing, he was walking up the driveway and throwing his cigarettes, and the kids were grabbing the cigarette butts.
That is oddly disturbing to me.
And also I'm a huge Rolling Stones fan.
So am I.
Like hardcore. So now here's the funny part. So in my locker, I used to have photos of like live shots of the Stones, and Mick is my all-time favorite. And I used to have live shots of them, this and that. And one day, Marlon trashed my locker. I think he got mad that I had pictures of Mick Jagger. I don't know what it was.
Really?
But this is an interesting time because it was in the 80s when the two of them were feuding. So the Stones, Keith and Mick were feuding hardcore at this time. And it was like during the time period when there was a lot of strife between them, and there was a lot in the press back and forth. So I was so furious that this happened, and I'm still not proud that I did this. It was wrong to do, but I wrote on his locker, "Mick dumps Keith."
Oh.
Which is that, and Marlon, if you're out there, I apologize.
Are you now? Are you?
But this is like the North versus the South, so yeah,
it really was. It was
he
weird.
Had his father's side,
but I didn't. Yeah, he kind of gave me, I guess, grief, and then I don't know. I get mad. He trashed my locker, and it was like, it was really a bad situation. I got really pissed
in
off.
the grand scheme of things, that is such innocent.
Isn't that funny? It was innocent, stupid shit.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah, it's rock and roll, but it was just funny. Yeah.
But Marlon was a great kid, and I'm sure he's a great guy.
I'm sure
now.
he is, and let me tell you something. Marlon looked like a young Keith. It was amazing. He had remember when Keith was younger and he had like the cheekbones,
I don't
and he
think
was
I've
like
ever seen a picture of the guy.
Of young Keith.
No.
Marlon? Yeah, Marlon was taller than Keith, but he was he looked like a young Keith. It's amazing.
Now, are you still in touch with your classmates from back in the day?
You know, here and there, like it's not like we don't hang out, and it's not on purpose. They're all lovely people, but it's just time-wise. We're all on touch on Facebook, and, you know, I'll see like one of them or two of them here and there. We run into each other. Well, like if we physically see each other, we'll like physically run into somehow we're living in similar areas and we run into each other. It's always a nice reunion. You know?
I got to tell you, I want to brag. I want to brag to people watching this show. I am having my 50th high school reunion.
Why would you even say that?
Because I'm proud of it.
Say 25th.
I'm proud of it.
25th.
I am proud of it. All
Yeah.
right. And it's this coming Columbus Day.
Wow.
And all right. Now,
I think he's inviting us.
I'm telling you that I monitor Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And I got a message, a surprise message out of the blue from a
Columbus.
girl
Oh, wow.
that I have not spoken to or seen in 50 years. Boom, there it was on Facebook Messenger. And you know
Wow.
what it said? I always had a crush on you.
Are you making this up?
I'm not making this up.
Wow.
And
And
there was a picture with it?
a contemporary picture. I knew who she was. To me, she is still beautiful. And she was beautiful back then, and I was tongue-tied and insecure. And
When you
couldn't-
got the text or back then?
No, back then. But sadly, when I got the text, I was also tongue-tied. And
Still insecure.
and
You're blushing.
I am blushing. I can't wait for my reunion.
So she's going.
She's going.
And you're going.
And I texted back something like, "It'll be so wonderful to see you." I was nervous.
My Lord.
And then she texted back something I assume was a joke.
Oh, boy.
Maybe after the reunion we can go down to the beach. And
Get
I think,
outta
I think
here.
I think it was a joke.
Because after any kind of
Because you
prom
know,
or stuff,
you know,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, the beach.
She's opening the door, Peter.
And
she's opening more than the door.
I handled it well. I handled it, Jackie, really
Teed
well.
me up.
No, I put you right on the room.
I texted back, "Why would we go to the beach in October? It's going to be too cold."
Oh,
Here
he goes.
I
There he goes.
no,
He shot
I
himself
shot
in the
myself
foot
in the
again.
foot.
There he goes.
but I'm gonna say
You didn't really do that.
No,
No,
the last
no.
one I made up. The other stuff is true, and I am gonna see her,
And you saw her picture?
and she's still beautiful.
Wow.
And
the current picture?
a current picture, she is still gorgeous.
You never know.
You never know what can
Wow.
happen. Of course,
It was a very, we were talking about this the other day, when you're on the road
Yeah.
in the 80s,
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of female comedians, but
Right.
the one, everybody had their 8x10s
Oh,
and all
no.
the clubs, Soupy
Yeah.
Sales
Yeah.
and Kreskin and blah, 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 and all these people and all the comics and the Seinfelds and the Reisers and the Bolsters and all of
Yeah.
us had an 8x10 up, and there were always 8x10s of girls.
Yeah.
And once in a while, you'd run into a girl on the road and say, who are you? And, I'm Shelley Lipschitz. And you almost say, no, I've seen her picture, then that ain't you. And then you realize, wow. And you have to morph them
Oh,
into
boy.
the photo. Like,
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
well,
So,
thanks for bringing us down, Jackie.
so I'm saying,
This is supposed
I'm
to be.
saying when enter at own risk. I wouldn't seat myself at her table till you're a little bit more sure.
This is for Locust Valley High School?
Locust Valley High School,
Wow.
go Falcons, baby!
Wow.
Class of '73. I'm very excited.
I wonder if it's a babe I knew.
You know,
I
doubt it.
I knew a few
No,
babes.
no. This has been.
I didn't know anybody from Locust Valley. Everybody's too rich.
Yeah, and classy. You forgot to add classy.
I don't think I was too classy for them. I think it was just the money.
This has been Stand-Up Memories, Season 2. And we have a lot of people to thank, I think, Jackie. First of all,
would like to say we got through 2 seasons, and Peter and me have not had one fist fight.
we haven't.
It's a miracle.
And I've gotten a few words in edgewise. First of all, let's thank our terrific guest, David Criblez,
You are great, Dave. Well, you know I have always loved you.
from Newsday, and watch for his
And from
bylines.
the Oyster Bay Guardian.
Oh, well, back in the day.
Yeah, but Newsday and David Criblez, his bylines. His stories are always great. And let's,
A lovely, wonderful, terrific crew.
let's thank
boss,
them by name.
backup.
Let's, first of all, we're doing this at Tied In Media in Plainview. And we want to thank Mike Cave, our executive producer and grand poobah owner of everything, for supporting
your
us.
head honcho, so to speak.
That's Mike Cave. And we want to thank everybody. There is Mike and Nicole and Freddie and Lula and, of course, Carolyn. But, Tied In Media has given us a shot, and we've had so much fun, and they've been so great producing Stand-Up Memories. We seriously want to thank them, right? Something serious.
And we'd like to say, all our fans, start those cards and letters coming in.
We are so looking forward to doing exciting new things in season 3. And this has been season 2. Jackie Martling. I am Peter Bales. Thank you for watching. And we really want to see you again out there.
I think you should be a little more sincere, because I'm about to throw up.
I want to say I love all of you. You mean so much to me.
We had a pisser doing the show, and we'll see you next season.
That's better. Hey, a new episode of Stand-Up Memories every Wednesday.
How exciting is that?
Starring me, Peter Bales, and right here, Jackie the Joke Man Martling.
Please follow us on social media. Search it out. What is it? MeSpace?
MySpace,
Your space?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Doodah.